Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Robin, a mom of two and a Montessori teacher. I help parents to understand the Montessori education and to raise their children following the Montessori principles. On my channel I talk about gentle parenting, Montessori, and I share many activities that you can do at home. Please subscribe if it's something that you are interested in. In this video I will talk about Montessori's life. Maria Montessori was a truly exceptional woman. She revolutionized education and gave us a clear framework to understand our children and to nurture their development. She founded the Montessori method of education. She started her first classroom, Casa Bambini, our children's house, in 1907. The Montessori method of education stresses the importance of respecting children. But let's go back to the beginning. Dr. Maria Montessori was born in Ancona, Italy, on August 31, 1870. She was an only child. Her parents wanted her to receive a good education, so they moved to Rome when Maria was 12. Her parents tried to convince Maria to embrace a teaching career. She refused and famously said, "Everything but a teacher." She chose to enter a technical school to pursue a love for mathematics. It was a very unusual choice at the time, as she entered an all-boys school. She decided to study biology after she turned 18 and later decided to switch to medicine. At the time, a woman studying medicine was unheard of. Her application was first rejected by the Board of Education, but eventually she became the first woman medical student in Italy, and then she graduated in 1896 and became Italy's first female doctor. In the same year, she represented the women of Italy in a feminist conference. She talked about the cause of working women. After she graduated, Dr. Maria Montessori worked in a psychiatric clinic for poor and disabled children. These children were living in dire conditions, with no toys to play with. She observed that children threw food on the floor after their meals and started to play with it. As they had no toys to manipulate, they played with crumbs of bread. It was then that she decided that there had to be more than medicine to help those children. She started to research what was done to help disabled children at the time. She discovered studies written by Jean Itard and Édouard Seguin. They were two French doctors who believed in educating disabled children. Maria Montessori embraced their view. Medicine was not the answer, education was. She shared her thought at an 1899 pedagogical congress. As a result, she became the co-directress of the first school for mentally disabled children from 1899 to 1901. Dr. Maria Montessori worked tirelessly, observing children, analyzing results and developing new materials. Her knowledge of children mostly originated from those 2 years of closely observing children. Montessori work with these children was so successful that they eventually passed public exams that were meant for non-disabled children. It astonished her that these children in ordinary schools were equaled in intelligence by her ill students. At the time, Maria had a love affair with a fellow doctor called Giuseppe Montesano. The 31st of March 1898 saw the birth of her only child, a son named Mario. Alongside Montessori, Montesano was a co-director of the Orthophonic School of Rome. If Montessori married, she would be expected to cease working immediately. Furthermore, Giuseppe's family strongly disagreed with their son's choice and prevented him from marrying Maria. They agreed to keep the relationship secret and have their child raised by a foster family in the countryside. Nevertheless, Giuseppe fell in love with another woman less than a year later. Montessori was heartbroken. She felt betrayed and decided to leave the university's hospital. She gave up her work in the clinic and studied philosophical education and pedagogical pathology. She was also working as a lecturer in the University of Rome in 1904. In 1906, she was given the opportunity to work with young children in a slum area in Rome. It was her task to take care of the children who were too young to go to school. Their parents were working in factories and were leaving them unsupervised in the nearby residential buildings. She was given a room to take care of these children. She equipped the room with child-sized tables, chairs, armchairs and materials similar to the ones she used with mentally ill children. She was given an assistant who had no teaching experience. As she was trying new methods, she was grateful that her assistant didn't have a background in education. It would have been a hindrance to her experiment. She did not give her assistant any limitation and only showed her how to present the materials. The first Casa dei Bambini, or children's house, opened officially on January 6, 1907, enrolling 50 to 60 children between the age of 2 to 7. In this first classroom, Montessori observed children's behavior, which forms the foundation of her educational method. She noted episodes of deep attention and concentration, multiple repetitions of activity, and a sensitivity to order in the environment. Given free choice of activity, the children showed more interest in practical activities and Montessori materials than toys. Surprisingly, Montessori observed that children were not motivated by sweets and other rewards. Over time, she saw a spontaneous self-discipline emerging in children. It was something unheard of at the time. Here is what Maria Montessori had to say about her experience at the Casa dei Bambini. We discovered that education is not something that the teacher does, but a natural process which develops spontaneously in the human being. 3 more Casa Bambini opened in 1908. In 1909, Italy and Switzerland began to implement a method in orphanages and kindergartens. In 1909, Maria Montessori wrote the method of scientific pedagogy as applied to infant education and the children's houses. That book was later published in America as the Montessori method. She also started to train teachers in the method. As early as 1909, Montessori's work began to attract the attention of international observers and visitors. Her work was widely published internationally. It spread rapidly. By 1912, Montessori School had opened in Paris and many other Western European cities. In 1913, she also reunited with her son. She was visiting him from time to time. Maria recalled later that he asked her if she was his mother. From then on, she took care of him. In 1914, Montessori went to America. She was welcomed by Thomas Edison, who kickstarted 4 of the first Montessori schools in the United States. The American Montessori Society was formed with Alexander Graham Bell as its president. While in America, Montessori had a pupil, Ellen Parkhurst, who devised the glass classrooms that allowed observers to see a classroom in action. Maria Montessori's writings were being translated in different languages, and schools were opening worldwide in countries such as Japan, China, and Canada. She was continually giving lectures around the world. She also continued the research and application of her principles to school-age children and preschool-age children, as well as infants from birth. In 1939, she flew to India, where she met Mahatma Gandhi. As they were Italian citizens, Maria and her son were housebound in India until the end of the Second World War. In 1949, she published The Absorbent Mind, a book that sensitized her ideas about the first 6 years of the child. The title is chosen after that specific aspect of the child's mind, a mind that absorbs unconsciously information from its surrounding. It stresses out the importance of a carefully prepared environment. That book is the cornerstone of the Montessori teaching. It explains how the mind of the child under 6 works and how to best support your child's development. Maria was nominated 3 times for the Peace Nobel Prize in 1949, 1950 and 1951. She passed away on May 6, 1952, in Noordwijk aan Zee in the Netherlands, at the age of 81. Her epitaph says, "I beg the day, all-powerful children, to unite with me for the building of peace in man and in the world."